Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. It's a new week. It's the week of Bahalosecha, and it's the week of, we're on the radio and on the video. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. We are on Torah anytime and Kol Haloshon at the same time. Today is Sunday, the week of Bahalosecha, and this week is the great Yontif of Shavuos. Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. This week will be Shavuos. Shavuos, the holiday of weeks. And today, Sunday, is the first day of the Shloshes Yemei HaGabolah, the 3 days of separating from the mountain, the 47th, 48th, and 49th, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. 47, 48, 49, which is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th day of Sivan. Because Tuesday night, Wednesday is the 6th of Sivan and the 50th day. So now we have to turn this light on, you see. This light just went off. So we'll have to turn it on again. Okay, Rabbi Isai. We are now we're on the radio, Kol Haloshon also, because we want to teach and learn the 30 questions of Megilas Rus. Everybody on Kol Haloshon know that we're on Torah Anytime video also at this time. You can go to TorahAnytime.com and you can see yours truly, and you can see all the other, 180 shiurim on Torah Anytime, and you can see my 30 questions on Megilas Rus, the 30 questions on Megilas Rus, and the 26 questions on Shavuos. And recently something happened over there at Torah Anytime. It doesn't come up anymore on IE, Internet, Internet, what's it called, International Internet. It goes up on Firefox. So Torah Anytime comes up, but my shiurim for something happened over there. It doesn't come up on in IE. It comes up on Firefox. So up to recently. Hope they fix it. Anyhow, let us now ask these 30 questions that we asked on Torah Anytime earlier today, but not on Kol Haloshon earlier today, not on Torah Anytime. Let us go now answer all the 30 questions of Megilas Rus, because we only have 3 days left. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and Thursday morning, we read Megilas Rus, the second day of Shavuos, because we always read Megillah on the last day, the Shabbos Chol HaMoed Pesach, and Shabbos Chol HaMoed Sukkot, and Shavuos has no Shabbos and no Chol HaMoed, so we read it on the second day of Shavuos, Megilas Rus. And Rosh Hashanah we read, the last day we read, no, we don't, nothing on Rosh Hashanah, we read on Sukkot, we read Koheles, Pesach is Ashir Ashirim, Shavuos is Rus, Tisha B'Av is Eicha, and Tisha B'Av is Eicha, and Sukkot is Koheles, and Esther is on Purim. So now we'll ask the 30 questions and the answers of Megilas Rus. Number 1. Who wrote the Megillah? Would you like to know? Well, I'm going to tell you. Who wrote the Megillah? Shmuel Hanavi, 77 years after the marriage of Boaz and Rus. 77? Yeah, because Megilas Rus has 77 Pesukim. Isn't that interesting? Number 2. How old were Rus and Boaz at their marriage? Rus was 40, Boaz was 80. The marriage lasted 1 night. And he made her pregnant. She had Oved, who had Yishai, who had David, who had Shlomo, and from that comes Mashiach. Number 3. How was Boaz related to Naomi? First cousins, because uncle Elimelech and Ploni Almoni were 2 of the 5 brothers, and she was a cousin of them. Elimelech married his niece Naomi. Elimelech, the Gadol Hador, married his niece Naomi, because Naomi's uncle was Elimelech and Ploni Almoni, and Elimelech married his niece Naomi. Number 4. Why did Boaz not talk to Naomi for 3 months after her return to Eretz Yisrael? Naomi, and the Rus was the daughter-in-law of Naomi, the Gadol Hadar's wife, the richest woman, because Elimelech was the richest man. And why didn't Boaz, the Shofet, he's one of the Shoftim. There were 15 Shoftim in the course of about 300 years. And there were 15 Shoftim. Shimshon was also one. And Boaz and Eli and Shmuel Hanavi. And so why didn't Boaz talk to Naomi, his niece, for 3 months after her return to Eretz Yisrael? He was makpid and angry at her leaving and abandoning the poor people in those hungry years. What is the gematria of Rus? What is the significance of this? Rus, Reish, above, Sof, 606. Yes, so. These are the new mitzvos she accepted after she kept already the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach, and 606 and 7 is 613. That means to be a geyures, you must be a decent guy. You must keep the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach. How many children did Boaz have before his marriage to Rus? 30 boys and 30 girls. All whom died, including his first wife. How was Manoach, Shimshon's father, the story of yesterday's Haftorah Pasha Noso, since the Noso talks about a Nazir, so we talk about Manoach and his wife, who were going to have a Nazir as a child, Shimshon, from the tribe of Dan. And they grew up and saved the Jewish people. How was Manoach, Shimshon's father, involved with Boaz? He was his neighbor, Manoach. He was not invited to any of the 60 chasanas of Boaz's children. Boaz did not invite Manoach to any of his weddings. You know why? Because Manoach was very poor and he was ashamed that to invite his neighbor, because the neighbor would come and he couldn't bring a present, and he was ashamed to embarrass his neighbor. So Hashem punished Boaz. All the 60 children died, because you don't have to worry about somebody having money or not. You invite him; he's your neighbor. Invite him to the chasana. God could make you win the lottery overnight, and from poor to rich you become overnight. That's not your business. Your business is to invite your neighbor to the chasna. If they bring a present, good. If not, it's quite all right too. That's why his children, 60 children died. He should have been kinder to his neighbor. Why did all the children and his first wife, Boaz, die? As a punishment for what I just told you. How many Pesukim are there in the Megillah? Oh, I told you, 77 is wrong. How many Pesukim are there in the Megillah? Well, yeah, it is right. You'll see in a minute. How many Pesukim are there in the Megillah? What's the significance of this? 85. Pei Hey. 85 Pesukim. Which means here. Pei Hey is Pei Hey, 85. And Po means here, right? And if you turn it around, you get 58. Which is Noch, to rest. That means to die. Because there are 58 Pesukim about, there's also 58 Pesukim in another place of Tanakh about Goliath. You see, these two boys, Machlon and Bechilion, who married Rus and Arba for ulterior motives, because Arba and Rus were the daughters of the king of Moab, very wealthy people, and Machlon and Bechilion were the sons of Elimelech, the richest man. They were very rich men, so there was a status marriage. Oh, they were tzaddikim gedolim, and they knew that Mashiach has to come through their family, because from Yehuda, Elimelech comes Yehuda, Eli Melech, kings will come from me. and they thought they had to marry Goyim because there's a pasuk that Hashem will bring from Moab the Mashiach, and so 85 Pesukim is Po right here, and you turn it around, you get Nach. Nach means to die. So David killed Goliath, right? And that is his, really, Arpa and Rus were sisters. One went back to her religion, Arpa. Rus stayed with Yiddishkeit, 2 sisters. They had children. She had some Goyish children, Goliath, he had Jewish children. And they're first cousins. David killed Goliath, the giant. David is still here. David Melch Yisrael Chai V'Kayim Po 85. The Rus, her child, is David, and Noch. They're dead. Goliath is over. He's finished. David killed him and his 3 brothers, children of Arpa. See Shmuel Aleph Yud Zayin, which has 58 pesukim on the subject of David killing Goliath, and the Megilas Rus has 85 switched around about David, who is not Noch, dead, but he's Po, still here. 85 is the opposite of 58, and living is the opposite of dead. 85 pesukim. We'll get to the 77 in a minute, you'll see. Yeah. Here. 10. Why do all the pesukim begin with a vav except 8 in the Megillah? Vav, vahi, woe. Upon such an evil generation that judges its judges. Doesn't it start out, Vayehi b'mei shefot hashoftim, when the people judged their judges, they were smarter and frummer than they thought than the rabbis. Rus wanted to marry a Jew who had a bris on the 8th day. Well, every Jew has a bris on the 8th day. There's 8 pesukim, the whole Megillah, 85, start with a vav, except 8 pesukim. And because she wanted to marry a man who had a bris, a man who could control his bris. She, through her mother-in-law Naomi, was testing Boaz when she crawled into that sleeping bag and he didn't touch her, because Boaz was the descendant of Yehudah, and he was there to masakin the head of Yehudah, who did not control himself. Well, a malach pushed him, I know, but they had to be masakin the head of Yehudah. Here comes the great-great-great-great-great-grandson Boaz to masakin the head, and he didn't touch her the whole night, and that's what Naomi wanted to find out, if Boaz, the Gadol Hador, the Shofet, is good enough for Rus, the great-grandmother Mashiach. That's why Naomi set this whole thing up by Ruach HaKodesh. So, this question is, why do all the Pesukim begin with the Vav except 8? Well, 85 minus 8 is 77. We'll see in a minute what that means. There was 77 Pesukim in the Megillah that start with a Vav, and it was written 77 years after the story by Shmuel HaNavi. Vav means woe upon such an evil generation that judges it judges, because it starts out by Yehi, by woe, a judge that judges, a generation that judges its judges. She wanted to marry, and only 8 of the 85 don't start with the Vav, and all the rest do. She wanted to marry a man who had a bris on the 8th day, which means who controlled his bris. She, Rus, the greatest Geuris that ever lived, next to Avraham Avinu and Yisro, wanted the Naomi set up Rus to test Boaz if he was good enough for Rus, because Naomi, the mother-in-law, had Ruach HaKodesh. What Avera did Naomi do? What punishment did she receive? Following her husband outside of Eretz Yisrael is an Avera. A person is not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael except for 3 things. For Chasana, well, they were married already, Elimelech and Naomi. Parnasa, they were the richest people. And Limud HaTorah, he was a Gadol Hador. He didn't have to learn from anybody. Parnasa does not apply to the wealthy. She received abject poverty as her punishment. And after 10 years, they had to leave Moab, as it says in the Megillah, And the Moabites had no compassion on her because they lived in abject poverty. Because after 10 years they didn't help Naomi. And she walked back and with bare feet, as the Mayon says. Bare feet. They went along the road. Baderech, well, where do you think you go? In the air? They should say they went back to you, from Moab back to you, Eretz Yehuda. It says when they walked along the road, it means their bare feet was touching the road. They had no shoes. That's how poor this very, 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 very wealthy woman was when she left 10 years before with covered wagons. So they were so poor, because that was for punishment for not caring for the poor people. She should have said to Elimelech, by the way, a woman has to do everything her husband tells her, except one thing: leave Eretz Yisrael. She could say no. She could say no, I don't want to go. She followed him. She's wrong. You're not allowed to. You don't have to follow your husband outside of Eretz Yisrael. That you can say no, and he has to pay you the ksuva and give you a get. Well, you don't want to be alone. You have to marry somebody else, but you have to pay up the full get. So she went along with him. He was a little bit intimidating. It says a few times, Ish Naomi, he was overpowering, and she felt it's all her fault. 12. What Aveira did Elimelech and his two sons do? What punishment did they receive? They also left Eretz Yisrael. They lost their money, their livestock, and then their lives, because they did not do tshuva. The Gemara discusses what Aveira did they do. They abandoned the Jews. They didn't mention a word that they married Goyim. And they married two Moabite girls. It doesn't say that was Aveira. Now, how could Machlon Bekilion, the sons of the Gadol Hador Elimelech, marry Goyim? They married 100% converts, but they were not converts. How do you know? Because later Naomi tells her, go back to your religion like your sister Arpa did. Oref, she turned her back on Judaism. So, why don't you follow her way? Why are you talking a Jew out of it? Answer is, they were Jews 99%, because Machlon Bekilion were the wealthiest people, Ephrosim, sophisticates, wealthy. They married the wealthiest girls in the world, the king of Moab's daughters, and there was a little bit of shlo lishma in that marriage. They married 100% kosher, everything, but it was a little bit not lishma. How do you know? Arpa turned her back on it. And Naomi reconverted her daughter-in-law. And then her daughter-in-law, Rus said, which means she converted again, because the first marriage was 95% kosher. 99, and Machlon didn't even realize, subconsciously, they were not purely Shmuel. But then she said, again, Rus said that, so you see that now it was really the Shmuel. When she was poor down and out, that was really the Shmuel. She didn't do it for any reason, not for a married rich man, not for Panasi. She was a poor beggar in Boaz's field. And he didn't talk to her for 3 months, testing her. He was testing Rus. Naomi tested Boaz with Rus. "13. How are the children of Rus and Orpah related? The child of the Dvukah, the one that stuck to Naomi, Rus, killed the children of the Neshukah, Orpah, who kissed her. Neshika means kissed her goodbye. Because David killed Goliath and his 3 brothers. Well, 3 generations later. Rus, Obed, Yishai, David. Son, grandson, great-grandson. What number shofet was Boaz? How many years did he serve? Number 10 of 15 shoftim. A period of the shoftim lasted 360 years. Each one was about 20 years. 15, 25 years. From Yehoshua till Shaul. Boaz was shofet for 7 years. 15. Why did the children of one of the Gedoli Hador Elimelech only marry Goyim? Why does the Gemara not blame them for this? They did, and they didn't, like I explained to you. It was a status marriage. 2 daughters of the king of Moab and the 2 sons of Israel's richest man And Ben Noach is not under the same ban of marriage as a ban against the Canaanite nation. Moab you could marry, not the Canaanites. So they had to go outside of Eretz Yisrael, go to across the Yarden, the Moabites. And Ben Noach is not under the same ban of marriage as the ban against the 7 Canaanite nations. You can be a Ben Noach from the other nations, not Ben Canaani. Can't be a Ben Noach from the Canaanites. Their Gerus, these sisters, was not Lishma. Proof, Arpa abandons Yahadus. A real Ger doesn't abandon Yahadus. And Rus reconverts. There's a Masorah that Mashiach comes through Moab. Look at the Mefarshim. They did this on purpose in order to produce the lineage of Mashiach. What does Elimelech mean? What does Machlon mean? What does Kilya mean? Eli Melech, to me will come the king, through me. He was aware of the Masorah, because remember, Boaz comes from Yehuda. Machlon, to smash, Moch, because God killed him. Kilya, to destroy, Kiliyah, God destroyed him. These two were deserving of punishment because they gave up hope for the Geula. That's why they left the country. The Megillah begins by twice mentioning they came from Beis Lechem Yehuda. Why? The second time it is their address. The first time is the description of their sins, which is they refused to give food, bread, lechem, to Yehuda, to the Jews of Yehuda. This is Beis Lechem Yehuda. That's what it means. 18. How did Naomi test Boaz, and how did Boaz test Rus? By setting him up that night with Rus. She, Naomi, through Rus, tested Boaz. To be Mesakin, the head of Yehuda, we told you about this, his progenitor. And Tamar, and Yehuda and Tamar. He proved to be stronger than Yosef HaTzadik, Boaz. One night as opposed to 1 minute. Yosef HaTzadik was 1 minute, then he ran out of the house. This was all night. Gemara says this, Yosef, Boaz, in him is strength. He was greater than Yehuda. Yosef, it took 1 minute. This took the whole night. So now, 18b, how did Boaz test Rus? By letting her glean as a beggar for 3 months to see if her Gerus is sincere, or she's going to give it up and says, she could have said, what do I have to be a beggar? I'm the king's daughter, king of Moab. She did it Lishma. That means you're really Lishma. Knowing that she was the king of Moab's daughter. She was the king of Moab's daughter. But she did it Lishma, even in poverty. 19. Why does it say in Aleph, Pasuk 22, they both returned to Eretz Yisrael when Rus was never there? She returned to her progenitor's land, her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, the land of Lot. Where his oldest daughters had relations with him, with him, via incest, and they fathered a child called Moab. The great-grandfather, many generations removed. So she returned back, Rus, to the place where her great-grandfather once was, Lot. And the 2 daughters lived with their father. Had one kid called Moab, one is Ammon, and one is Moab. They have mamzer. There's no mamzerim amongst Goyim, only amongst Yidden. It doesn't exist amongst Goyim, mamzerim. Mamzerim is only Israel. And when a person is a mamzer because his father did a terrible thing, marrying one of the 7 close relations, the father is going to be punished. The kid is punished, but is not punished by his aver. He's unfortunate he can't marry an Israel, only another mamzeris. Or a giur, or a ger, but he cannot marry Yisrael. So the father did a terrible thing. The kid could be a Rosh Hashiva, but he's a mamzer. He could be a tzaddik. But to say that a mamzer, Talmud Chacham, comes before a Kohen Amoritz, it's not his fault, it's his father's fault. 20. Why did we read Rus on Shavuos? Because she became a Geuris. And we all became Gerim on Shavuos. Didn't we say Nazav and Ishma? And from Yehudim we became Bnei Yisrael. We were Makabel the Torah on Shavuos with 2 promises. Shavuos, Nazav and Ishma. Also David, her great-great-grandson, who was born and died on Shavuos. 21. This is a good one coming up. What does Yisro have to do with Rus? Yisro and Rus, the same letters. Both Gerim. Yud, with Yisro, take the Yud out. Saru. Saru is Reish Vav Sof. 606. Now I'm going to explain to you what that means. He was Makabel the Torah at Sinai, at the giving of the Seres Adibros, hence the Yud. The 606 came in a package deal called the Seres Adibros. The 606 represents the new mitzvahs. You already kept 7, because you can't become a ger unless you're a decent guy. So 606 and 7 mitzvahs, and the B'nai Noach is 606 and 7 is 613. So Yisro is Tov, without the Yud is Tov Reish Vav, which is Rosh Reish Vav Tov Rus, and he got it in a package deal at Sinai. Now, if he came before Matan Torah, he got it at a package deal in Sinai. And if he came after Matan Torah, Moshe explained him the Seres Dibros, which is the concise entire Torah is in the Seres Dibros. So basically, the Seres Dibros is the entire Torah in those 10. I don't want to say commandments because we don't believe in 10 commandments because it doesn't say Asorot Sivuyim. It says Asorot Seres Hadibros. You know why? There's only 9. 2 positive, Shabbos and Kabed, and 7 Lavim, that's 9. And the first is a statement. Sure, there are 10 Dibros, but that's what I call Dibros, things, sayings. The first is worded as a statement, I am, a fact, and then there's 2 positive, Kabed and Zochaz Yom Shabbos, that's 2. The others are 7 Lavim, 7, 2 is 9. So we don't have a Seres Sivuyim, we have a Seres Dibros. And Rus and Yisro, the greatest Gerim in Klal Yisrael. Avram Avinu, I mean, after Avram. After Avram, the greatest Gerim, because he was the first Ger, is Moshe's father-in-law, Yisro. And was the only one of the 3 advisors of Pharaoh, because he was the advisor of Pharaoh. Him and Eov and Bilam. Bilam, he said to his 3 advisors, what should you do with these Jews here? There's so many of them, they have 6 at every birth. He said, Bilam says, kill him out. So he got killed by the Jews. Eov said nothing. He said, I know God's going to take care of the Jewish people. So he got punished. And there was a Sefer Eov, 42 chapters of nothing but complaints. Which means, when it comes to other people, you're quiet. Eov. Comes to yourself, you're screaming. In Yiddish, there's such an expression. Wenn es kommt zu andere, schweigt man. When it comes to sich allein, schreibt man. When it comes to other people, you're quiet. God will take care of it. So it comes to you. Why don't you grin and bear it? Why do you have 42 chapters of Sefer Eov? Only complaints. My father wrote a Sefer, Zatzal, on Rabbi Schwab, on Eov. You should look at that. And a third one was Yisro. He said, don't touch them. They're God's people. You're a Jew lover. They wanted to kill Yisro. He had to run away from Eretz Mitzrayim through the Sinai Desert to Eretz Midian. That's Saudi Arabia. It's a long distance, you know. One is Moshe's father-in-law, one is the progenitor of Mashiach. Now, why does Mashiach have to come with this funny story of a woman crawling into someone's bed as a answer to the other religion that said their Mashiach is not a human being, came from an angel, virgin birth, some kind of shtus like that? We want to show dafka opposite. It's a regular human being. Greatest man, but it's a human being. Yehuda with Tamar. It's not the highest class thing. Boaz with Rus. It's no malach and hocus pocus stuff. It's a real human birth. 22. How old was Rus when Shlomo, her great-grandson, was a king at 12? King of Yisrael. She was 150 years old. See charts of Shoftei Umalachi Yisrael on Torah Masorah. You see the charts of Shoftei Umalachi Yisrael. You can see them. 23. Wasn't Ploni Almoni correct in his refusal to marry Rus? You see, the next day the man died. Boaz died on the following morning of his marriage. Why is he labeled Ploni Almoni and Am Ha'ores and Ignoramus? Boaz died on the morning following his marriage because he had finally accomplished his life's duty of fathering the Davidic dynasty. There is no man that doesn't have 1 minute why he came to this world. That 1 minute changes your life or somebody else's life or the destiny of mankind. There's no man that doesn't have his moment, where that moment he does something that the highest thing he ever did in his whole life, that can change destiny. Ploni Almoni was an Am Ha'aretz, not in halacha. He says, I don't want this Giyuris in my family, because the Torah says, Lo Yova Almoni Moavi and Bekal Hashem. But the Chachamim in Boaz's time had darshaned it that Lo Yova Amoni, male members, no. But Amonis, yes. And he didn't accept that. Therefore, he was an Am Ha'aretz, not in halacha, in emunas chacham, and he didn't trust the God Lador, Boaz. And he lost it, he blew it forever to be the great-grandfather of Mashiach. Did not accept halacha Moshe Sinai, newly darshan from the God Hador, Boaz. He didn't trust him, and his Perush on the Pasuk, Vayov Amoni or Moavi Bahal Hashem, Amoni or Moabid, or two children of lodestarters. From this we learn, don't jump to conclusions before you know the fact. So he said, see, the man died the next morning, I was right. See? No, you're not Morris. You don't understand. He had 60 children, they all died. Now he just accomplished his life's purpose. Now he can go, he's done. He's not, you don't get it. Don't jump to conclusions when you see things in life. You have to know the whole facts. That's why he's not Morris. He jumped the opportunity. He forfeited the opportunity to become the father of the Davidic line of Mashiach. 24. Was it chalitza? Because you see, he took off his shoe. Was the chalitza at the chasna of Rus between Boaz and Ploni Almoni? Absolutely not, because you don't. If he's married, there's no chalitza. If there's chalitza, there's no marriage. Chalitza means a divorce. You don't want to get married. But it looks like chalitza. Because you take off your shoe. Well, why you take off your shoe? Absolutely not. Neither were brothers. First of all, chalitza is only between brothers. A sister-in-law and a brother. They were not brothers. Ploni, Almoni, and Boaz were not brother cousins. It was a business deal. Kinyan sudor, a kinyan where you take a piece of clothes, a jacket or a yarmulke or something, or a shoe, and the shoe is the most valuable thing, because people, how many times in life do you have a new pair of shoes? 3, 4, 5 times a lifetime, big, hand-stitched shoes, go all the way up your leg, they didn't have paved roads, everything was mud and dirt, so you took off your stiebel. Stiebel means your boots, and that was a valuable thing. You give it to the friend, he gives it back, and that's all. It was only symbolic, like a handshake. Kinyan Suda, when you saw the chametz, you go to the Rav, he gives you something, like his pen or his jacket, you pick it up like that, and he represents you with power of attorney. It's called Kinyan Sudor, with a piece of his clothes. That's only a technical way to do it with a valuable garment. The shoe, that's not chalitza here. Chalitza is only between brothers. The 2 brothers are dead. We're talking about, this is Kinyan Sudor. The Al-Shech HaKodesh says it's like chalitza. It's like chalitza, which means in a certain way it is, in a really spiritual way it is chalitza. You don't want to preserve the neshama of this woman's husband, Machlon, and the woman spits in a real chalitza down on the floor. You don't want to, the brother-in-law doesn't want to marry her in order that the child that's born from the brother-in-law should have the neshama of the dead husband, his brother. So Al-Shech said it's not really technical chalitza, but this Ploni Almoni didn't want to be the member of the family who would bring back the neshama of Machlon. And isn't that interesting? When the child was born from Boaz and Rus, they didn't call him Machlon, they called him Oved. The neshama, not the name. They didn't want to call him Machlon because Machlon, in a certain way, did a bad thing. He left Eretz Yisrael, Hashem punished him. It says Hashem killed him. It's punishment. So he didn't want to give him that name. He never give a name to a child of a man who does some aver. 25. We have 30 questions. Why does Naomi blame her family tragedy on herself? She followed her husband's instructions to leave the country. No woman is obligated to follow her husband's instructions to leave Eretz Yisrael. Everything else, yes. Her refusal would have saved all their lives. Her refusals. Elimelech probably would have changed his mind. He wouldn't have left. He would have lived. The two sons would have lived, and there would be no tragedy. Therefore, Naomi, the great Balas Ruach HaKodesh, blames everything on herself. And Naomi was so impressed with this, she reconverted, because she met a real, sincere person. Look up Aleph Yud Gimel. You'll see over there on the Mefarshim on Aleph Yud Gimel in the Megillah that you have to listen to your husband all the time, except if he wants to take you out of Eretz Yisrael, you can refuse, and the Bezdin can force him to pay you the full kazoo and let you go. 26. If Moab is so close to Beis Lechem, how far do you think Beis Lechem Yehuda is from Moab across the Yarden? What, 10 miles, 12 miles, 20 miles? If Moab is so close to Beis Lechem, why didn't the poor people follow Elimelech? They used to come to his house every day with buckets and sacks, filled it up because he's the richest man. Couldn't they go 10, 15 miles? Across the river? Because they loved Eretz Yisrael, he didn't. You see, he left and they didn't. Therefore, he died and they didn't. 27. Why would Hashem create Mashiach through the most perverted nation on earth? Moab. Me'ah, from my father. Mamzer. A Mamzer nation. Incest. The two daughters of Lot with the father. Mashiach will unite the entire world. From the best to the worst. It's not just for us. It's to bring shalom to mankind. From the lowest to the highest. B'chol b'nei basar yikru b'shmechem. Like we say in the second Parsha of Aleinu, every day, 3 times. Everybody will see what we see. 28. How did Elimelech know that Mashiach would come through him? It was the Masorah in the family of Yehuda. What do you think? Boaz comes from the same family, and Elimelech. And go all the way back to Yehuda, his progenitor. In addition, he moved to Moab specifically for this reason, to marry a Moabite, and convert him, because you can convert Moabites. But he had a little bit ulterior motive. It wasn't pure gay Rus, because otherwise Arpa wouldn't have left, and she wouldn't have to, and Rus wouldn't have to reconvert. 29. Which words in the Megillah are not read, even though they're written in the Megillah? Which words are not written, but they're read in the Megillah? Which word is not read, where it says im, gimel yud beis, but I know it won't be? It means that, im. And which word is not written? A lie, but you say it. Not really true. A lie, not really true. You'll see in Gimel Yozayin and Gimel Hey, a lie twice. It is, we say it, but you don't write it. 30. Last question. Why do we read Megilas Rus before Kriyas Torah? And Megilas Esther after Kriyas Torah? Kriyas Torah is more important. Don't you think it should go first and then the Megillah afterwards? Like the Megillas Esther's after? Why do we read Megillas Rus before? What more chashiv comes first? You read 1, 2, 4 times a week. Shabbos morning and afternoon and Monday and Thursday. That should be read first and then the Megillah. Why do you read the Megillas Esther before Kriyas Torah? Isn't it Todah She'en Todah Kodem? The more constant comes first. Why Megillas Esther after Kriyas Torah? This is a good question. Now I'm going to tell you something. Listen. Since the reading of the 3 Megillas, Rus, Shir HaShirim, Rus on Shavuos, and Shir HaShirim on Pesach, and Koheles on Sukkot, is only a minhag, you don't make a bracha. You don't have to read it out of Megillah, the Megillah. You don't make a bracha. If you don't read it before Kriyas Torah, but instead you read it after Shacharis, people might leave because it's only a minute. However, since the reading of Megillas Esther is one of the 7 mitzvahs, the Rabbanon, one of the 7 mitzvahs. and it's preceded by a bracha, and you read it from Megillah, in fact, it's that 3 brachas, it's read after Kriyas Torah. So Kriyas Torah follows the dictum, Todah v'shein de Todah, Todah Kodem, and no one's going to leave because it's one of the 7 mitzvahs Rabbanan. Eicha is also follows the dictum, even though it has no Todah v'shein de Todah, Todah Kodem, therefore Eicha is at the end, but there's no bracha. You don't really have to read out of Megillah, so why don't you read it before? Why you read it after? People will never leave on Tisha B'Av till Eicha. You know why? Because on Tisha B'Av, business activities are forbidden until Chatzos. So where are you going to go? So you have to be in Shul. Now, Rabbi said we're finished. I want to tell you a thing I mentioned last week. I didn't do it on Torah Anytime video. Now I'm going to do it on video. Shavuos is coming up. And on Shavuos, we have Birchas Kohanim. People do the Siyas Kapayim, right? We Kohanim. Last Pesach, I decided when it comes Shavuos, I'm going to say something on the Kol Halosh, and I said it already, and on Torah Anytime. Last 15 years or so, 20 years, I look around, I've been around the whole country and everywhere. 95% of the Kohanim don't know how to duchen. You don't believe me? Take a look at this Shavuos. Are you not allowed to look at them? Yes, you are. When they're saying the 15 words, you can't look. But when they say that while we're saying Yiratzon, you can look at them because they're not duchening. In fact, the Kohen doesn't even have to have his hand up. He can have it down. Only has to have it up for those 15 words. You will look at the Kohanim, I'm not exaggerating, 90%, maybe 95%, do it 100% wrong. I saw it. And you can see it in yeshiva, and the yeshiva bachim and the Rabbeim, they do it right. But in the shul, even in yeshiva, when orchim come, somebody's father-in-law or something, they don't do it right. Most of them, unfortunately, had no clue. I've seen it like this. I've seen it like that, like that, like that, like that, like this, like that. You know how you have to do it? The way the Shulchan Aruch says. And no one argues with the Machaber, the Maran. You have to have fingers to get these 2 fingers together, the right one over the left, just a fraction of an inch. This has to be split open, 1 window here, 1 window here, 1 window between the thumbs, 3, 4, 5 windows. They got to be touching. The hands cannot be like this, or not like that, or like that. They got to be down and absolutely straight from your shoulders, not like this. Straight like this, not higher, not lower. Not up here. You wouldn't believe it. I've seen it. Like this, like that, like that, like that. Has to be from your shoulders, says the halacha. Look at Mishnah Berurah there. It helps us to Birchas Kohanim. The Siyas Kapayim. Straight out, straight, like this. If you're an old guy, maybe like this, but it have to be straight, touching. I can't split, but you know how to do it, Kohanim. And you have to move it around. Yorechecha, v'yishmerecha. Only the first and last word. Yor, yichunecha. Isa and Shalom. Those 6 words, you have to go to right and left. And when they're saying you don't even have to have your hands up. But be sure that your hands are perfectly straight out. Level with your thing. Okay, Rabbi said we're finished. Our shir for tonight. And this will be the last one before Shavuos. After Shavuos, maybe Thursday night, we'll have another call, maybe another video, maybe mostly Shabbos. Have a good week, good Yom Tov, and Chag Someach.